guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tess. If you don't know me already, I am a licensed esthetician and I have been away from YouTube for about 2.5 weeks, so it feels really good to be back. I was like so antsy and excited and just needed to find the time to sit down and film this video for you. But I think the break was good. It gave me time to just think about my content and where I want it to head and how I can be the most helpful I can possibly be. I put up a little quiz on my Instagram and asked you guys what video you wanted to see next, and the most votes were for a fall/winter transitional skincare type of video. So I want to include my tips for transitioning to the cooler months, as well as some product suggestions and all that I can say about making this transition as seamless as possible and keeping your skin as healthy and happy as it can possibly be while we kind of go through a little bit of a change here. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you do like it, subscribe for more. Don't forget to follow me on my other socials. I am on pretty much all the platforms, Instagram, TikTok. I've got a podcast, so make sure you check those out. And without further ado, let's hop into the video. All right, let's get into it. So what are we really talking about when it comes to a seasonal change and our skin? So of course, temperatures are going down, but the air can not only get colder, it can get more dry. So we're experiencing less moisture and less humidity in the air. And depending on where you live, the temperature change from summer to fall and winter can be pretty extreme. If we're talking about Kentucky, for example, where my cousins live, we're talking about over 100 degrees in the summer, lots of humidity, and then just like that, we are talking about much colder temperatures and much more dry air. So depending on where you live, this can be quite an adjustment. So as we head into the colder months, you might of course experience dryness, classic fall winter dryness. You might also experience dehydration because again, there is less water in the air, and dehydration is often confused with dryness. The difference is that dehydration stems from a lack of water, whereas dryness refers to oil in the skin. But when we're talking about dehydration, your skin might feel a little bit tight. You might notice more obvious signs of fine lines that aren't true wrinkles, but kind of present that way on the skin, especially the forehead, and that could be a sign of dehydration. The next thing I think is so important to talk about, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here, but it's really important to know that inflammation can also increase during the winter. This can happen externally because our skin is dry, our cells are spread more apart, and our skin can be more vulnerable to things like dermatitis, rashes, or eczema during the colder months. Something I also think is so key when it comes to inflammation that we don't talk about enough in terms of our skin is how we might experience more stress during the colder months around the holidays. This can impact our adrenals, it can impact our hormones, our oil levels, our cortisol. All these things can have an impact on the skin. Actually, 80% of skin conditions involve stress in some way. So it's something we really want to proactively manage. We might be spending less time outdoors going on walks because it's colder and darker. We might be absorbing less vitamin D and spending more time indoors. So I think it's really smart to also go into fall and winter with a plan for how you are going to take care of yourself. When the temperatures get colder, I like to think about things I can proactively do, things like therapy and talking on the phone with my therapist really helped me just get stuff off my chest. I also love cryotherapy, great for inflammation. Regular massages, so great for relieving tension, also boosting that circulation. And sometimes we can also suffer from not getting our circulation moving as much because, again, we're not outdoors enough. So heading into fall and winter, want to think about how you can really baby yourself, how you can plan nutritious meals that are going to feed your skin, because a lot of times in the colder months we just want that comfort food. We want to sit inside and cuddle up with blankets, and of course you want to do that too. You want to be gentle on yourself and take care of yourself, but also think about how you can plan some things throughout your day. I like to do things in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night, just to pamper myself and take care of myself. Maybe it's even just reading a little bit of meditation, stretching. I love to lift weights, go get my hair done or my nails done, get a massage, do things to really take care of yourself. I'm telling you guys, the stress management, so much easier to do when you're proactive and when you're already feeling good versus trying to, you know, do recon when things have gotten a little bit out of control. And I really try to stress the stress management to my clients. I want everyone to be aware of how what's going on internally, how our own happiness and how our own anxiety levels can really play a role in our skin. As opposed to what's going on internally, of course, the external environment in winter can have a big effect on our skin. Not only are we talking about colder temperatures outside, but when it comes to indoors, there can still be less moisture in the air. We might be turning up our heaters, which again really zaps the air of that moisture and exposes our skin to more heat, more inflammation. So I'd suggest being really conscious of your environment. I love a humidifier. CarePod makes my favorite humidifier. I will link them below. I think that is a great idea to have in your room when you're sleeping, and that will help to keep the barrier intact. We also want to be aware of harsh winds and avoiding turning up the heat too much or exposing your skin to extra stressors like hot yoga or being in a sauna that can be potentially dehydrating. As estheticians, we also need to think about not just adjusting our clients' routines for the winter, but we also need to think about the damage that may need repairing from the summertime when people are more exposed to photo aging and also probably not getting those deeper collagen stimulating treatments that usually happen in the colder months. The last factor we want to consider when it comes to fall and winter and how it affects the skin is our immune response. Immune response can definitely be hindered in the fall and winter when we're dealing with more colds, more flus, more viruses, hopefully not COVID, but I've even seen that impact the skin, because what happens when our immune response is hindered, we're experiencing an increase in inflammation. So we want to be aware of cold, flus, and boosting our immunity with lots of antioxidants. Again, healthy, nutrient-rich diet, not adding stress to the equation, being mindful of things like alcohol that can lower our immunity. And as SDs, we should also be aware that things like a change in allergy medication, which can happen in the fall and winter, can definitely impact the skin, as well as other medications our clients might be taking to combat any type of sickness. So now that we've talked about some of the factors that can affect why your skin is feeling more dry and lackluster in the fall and winter, let's talk about how we can tweak our routines. So of course, especially when things are hot and humid in the summertime, we might favor a water-based moisturizer. I suggest to a lot of my clients also getting a SPF that's a built-in moisturizer and SPF, so they don't need to layer too many things in the summertime. But come fall and winter, you might want that extra little barrier of moisturizer in the morning before sunscreen. And you might want a product that is a little bit thicker at night. I think the key here when it comes to switching to a heavier moisturizer is just being really savvy, because although we need something more emollient to nourish our skin, there are definitely a lot of thicker moisturizers that can be a big problem and really clog your skin. I, of course, always favor clinical lines like a Glymed Plus or an Is Clinical, because I trust they know how to make a thicker moisturizer that's not going to be problematic for most people who wear it. Whereas if you're just going into Sephora, the drugstore, or purchasing, you know, a designer product from something like Nordstrom, no guarantee that the formulator is savvy enough to make a product that's rich but not comedogenic at the same time. Here's some things I like to look for when it comes to choosing a moisturizer. I always love a good quality hyaluronic acid. If it's low quality, it can actually spur more inflammation or if overused, but in general, I really favor hyaluronic acid because it is going to bind moisture to the skin and hold it there when we need it. An oil-based moisturizer can also be really smart, especially if you're more prone to dryness, because it is going to provide a little extra protective layer from the elements. I like to look for amino acids in my moisturizer because these are really the building blocks for healthy skin cell and barrier function. A product I absolutely love that's a semi-occlusive is the Glymed Plus Amino Acid Epidermal Sealant with PC10, which is a peptide. Other ingredients I love in my moisturizer include ceramides, lipids that are skin identical. This is going to encourage healthy skin barrier function, as well as amino acids and peptides, which are like little building blocks to just make sure your skin has all of the little bricks to maintain its structure. A product I absolutely love that doesn't get enough credit, especially for fall and winter, is Glymed Plus's Amino Acid Epidermal Sealant with PC10. This has peptides, amino acids, and a lot of skin identical lipids and ceramides that are going to reinforce that skin barrier function. So I like to use a thin layer of this over my moisturizer if I notice I'm getting a little bit dry, or say I did my nighttime routine and it's about 10 o'clock and I'm about to go to bed and notice I'm feeling a little bit dry, I will apply a thin layer of this guy, and it really just locks in all that hydration and makes sure I am protected until the morning time. Another product that is absolute liquid gold for the winter time is the Glymed Plus Cell Protection Serum. This is my go-to for those ultra compromised clients that tell me, Tess, my barrier just feels so out of whack. I constantly feel like my skin is burning, it's itching. Or if you're using a stronger prescription strength retinoid like myself, and you are more prone to dryness, sensitivity, things like that, I really like to reinforce my tretinoin with the cell protection serum. That way I can just apply a little layer of this. It has oat extract, one of my favorite ingredients for the winter time, along with amino acids. So put that on my skin as, like it says, a little layer of protection. Then I use my tretinoin and then a little bit of moisturizer. Another fantastic product that can be used if you're not necessarily that super dry and compromised skin type that needs self-protection serum or the epidermal sealant is the Amino Acid Serum with PC10 by Glymed Plus. Lots of aloe, peptides, and amino acids in this one. A great product for combating inflammation, aging, fine lines and wrinkles, or if you are more of an oily skin type that really wants to build their barrier back up or just head into the colder months with some extra defense. This is a really nice one. The key with those three products that are more moisturizing and serum type products is they really protect our lipid synthesis. So they're going to keep the good stuff in and the bad stuff out, which is kind of the name of the game when it comes to winter skincare. Another product I think is super key to address in your skin routine in the colder months is a cleanser. I think some of us can happily use a gel cleanser 2 or 3 times a day during the summer, and in the winter months for some of us that's just going to be too much. I definitely encourage having at least 2 cleansers in the routine, something that's more cream based and something that's more gel based, so you can choose based upon how your skin is feeling, or come the colder months you might want to reach for a cream cleanser and do that in your morning routine and just use your gel cleanser at night. We also need to talk about lip care when it comes to the winter months. Our lips are one of the thinnest skins on our face, so we want to make sure we're really protecting them against the elements, especially if we're eating, drinking, kissing, and just constantly affecting that barrier. So these are some of my favorite products. I won't go too in depth into all of them. Maybe that will be in a separate video. I have the Glymed Plus lip balm here, one of my favorites, so hydrating. The Is Clinical Lip Protect, definitely want to make sure lip protection is part of your daytime routine, as well as Youth Elixir, the Laneige Lip Mask Sleeping Balms. I just adore these and think they are one of the best lip products on the market for really protecting and repairing the lips, as well as Is Clinical Lip Polish to make sure we're removing any dead cells and debris before we go in with our more nourishing types of products. So lips need exfoliation too. If you follow me, you know. If you know, you know. I am an absolute sunscreen freak. I wish I was as good as I am now about protecting my skin when I was younger, but great sunscreen and sun protection is so important during the winter months just as much as summer. You may not realize, but although the burning rays, the UVB rays, may be stronger in the summer, we're still absorbing the same aging UVA rays in the winter time. So you want to look for a broad spectrum sunscreen that's going to protect against both. These are 2 of my faves, the Is Clinical Extreme Protect and the SkinBetter Compact. I purchased this twice. This is an SPF 40, SPF 68, but both really great forms of mineral protection if you are sensitive to chemical filters or ingredients in general. Zinc oxide is generally tolerated by most people or more sensitive dry skin types. So I love both of these, and I love that they have a little bit of color in them because I don't lay out in the sun. I just want to add a little bit of color in my skincare products, especially if I am pale in the winter months, which I'm really pale all year long, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I really like that these products make me feel a little bit more tanned, and you would never know the difference between an actual tan and just a little bit of color in your skincare. What I want to talk about is active ingredients. My active ingredients actually don't change so much in the summer versus the winter. I'm always going to use my vitamin C in the morning, and I'm going to use my retinoid at night if I'm using it that night. But I think sometimes we think of vitamin C, for example, as a summertime product, but we want these antioxidants just as much in the wintertime because antioxidants are what's going to strengthen our skin's immune response and really allow us to fight off that inflammation, those signs of premature aging and dryness. So you still want to make sure you're using a vitamin C in the winter. Pro Heal from Is Clinical is a great option for a vitamin C if you are often sensitive to vitamin C's or you have a more compromised skin type where you feel like a lot of vitamin C's cause burning or stinging. This one is very healing and reparative, and almost at the end. Sad day, but truly a phenomenal product. A lot of my clients tell me I never thought I could use vitamin C, and Pro Heal is the only one I could use. A lot of my rosacea clients love this product as well. Quickly wanted to mention retinol, tretinoin, and just talk about it because it is still one of those vitamins. Both vitamin C and vitamin A are actually very healthy for our skin function. Vitamin A is going to help our skin turn over those cells. So although people may think of it as a more aggressive ingredient or product, it's actually beneficial to our skin's barrier function and the whole philosophy of corneotherapy, which means really preserving the integrity and health of our skin cells and our barrier function. The key is not using it too much, not using it too often if you can't tolerate it, and just being careful with your tretinoin. So I'm still using it in the fall and winter. However, I pay attention to the areas I feel a little bit more dry, which for most people tends to be around the mouth and around the nose. Whereas I might apply the same amount all over in the summertime. As I'm heading into winter, I find I just can't tolerate that same amount of tret, so I use it very sparingly on the lower half of the face, and I avoid it just directly around the mouth and the nose because those areas tend to get flaky and dry. Another hero product that I actually love to use with tretinoin, or if I'm going to use some sort of AHA or a chemical peel, this is actually a balm. It's a CBD balm that I put around the corners of my nose and mouth, and that way it just provides a little extra barrier so those ingredients that can be sensitizing don't overly irritate my skin. So this is like my little protective product. I'm so in love with it. If you are prone to any type of skin reactions or dermatitis, it is a must. I tend to get rashes on my neck, and it is just a lifesaver for that. I really love this in the summertime for bug bites, or just when I'm traveling and not sure of, you know, a reaction that could happen. It's happened to me in hotels from sheets with bleach on them. Again, bug bites or rashes. So this is kind of like my little like first aid kit healing product, but I also think it's a great multitasker for a little bit of extra protection when it comes to using more aggressive exfoliants or actives such as a tretinoin. So I lay this down kind of like around my nose and mouth, or even over my lips, and then I go in with my tretinoin, and this is going to make sure my barrier is intact, but we're not clogging at the same time. Okay, I have just a few more products. I don't want this video to get too long, so I'm so happy if you guys are still watching. But if you want to add in a little extra hydration and nourishment, I think that's a great idea come winter time. And this actually doesn't change for me in the summer versus winter, but I know not everyone likes to use a million products like me. So if you don't and you're just waiting for, you know, when you really need it, two products I love are the Wrinkle Prescription Mask with PC10 from Glymed Plus. Fantastic product. One of my clients says this just reminds her of liquid Botox. It's so great for fine lines and wrinkles. Also adds a ton of hydration. This has glycerin, vitamin C, vitamin E, and rose oil. It smells like roses. It's just so lovely and heavenly. I feel like this would be a good Valentine's Day gift for somebody you love because it's just so floral and feels so luxurious and total pampering moment. Next, such a classic, such a go-to. I use this year-round, but it's great in the winter because it does have aloe, green tea, niacinamide, a lot of great ingredients for inflammation. And at the same time, it packs a ton of hydration that you will feel. Some days I feel like I don't even need moisturizer if I'm using this, my serums, and sunscreen in the morning. I just feel light but hydrated and good to go. But this is an incredible product if you want to just sneak in some more hydration into your daily winter routine. Use this in the morning and at night, as long as you don't have a sensitivity to niacinamide. This is a great product for a lot of people. Oh, also going to help with hyperpigmentation, which is why this is such a sneaky great product, because you think of a mist as something that, yes, it's hydrating, but this also functions like a serum because you're going to get a lot of benefits in terms of combating hyperpigmentation from the summertime as you head into winter. So another great multitasker. Of course, it's so important to exfoliate during the winter months, especially when we might notice more dead cell buildup. So we don't want to overdo it, but 2 to 3 times a week is generally a good amount to be exfoliating. And I know there's so many options for exfoliants and so many good ones. I love a physical scrub. For my skin type, it actually tolerates it really well, and it helps a lot with blackhead congestion around the nose. I think most people have a good physical exfoliant. Hopefully it's nothing harsh or nothing rough. We just want even, smooth particles. Another product I thought I should mention, because it is pretty special, is the Is Clinical Warming Honey Cleanser. This offers enzymatic exfoliation, which is tolerated by all skin types. Even the utmost sensitive skin types can tolerate an enzyme such as this. And this contains raw honey, locally sourced, and a very pure formulation, different from just slapping something from your kitchen on your face. But this is going to be a very healing product, so I thought it was appropriate to include if you want to make sure you're getting a little gentle dead cell removal, but you're healing the skin at the same time. This is a really good one for my acne clients, as well as more dry, compromised skin types. Last but not least, I had to mention body care because it is so important, not just for our skin, but for our overall immune health, especially during this pandemic and as we head into cold and flu season, to really protect our body after we're washing it. So I really suggest bringing a moisturizer out and about with you after you wash your hands, especially because we're washing our hands so much. I know I'm showering twice a day just to be extra careful, and that can definitely take a toll as we head into the colder months. So want to make sure you are moisturizing your hands and body, and wanted to mention one of my all-time favorite body moisturizers, which I don't often mention products from the drugstore, but this is one that I am ride or die for. This is Lactin. It's a 15% lactic acid restoring lotion. Lactic acid is one of my favorite acids because it can work for everyone, because it is so gently exfoliating and at the same time going to pack a ton of hydration. So I love this one. It's helped so much with my KP on my arms, and I even put it on my feet before I put some socks on. That's a really good tip before you go to bed, just to help with any cracked heels. But love, love, love this product. And last but not least, Marini's Corrective Hand Complex. Damn, this woman makes a great moisturizer. This contains vitamin C and licorice. It's going to be very brightening, and something I am struggling with is sun damage on the tops of my hands from when I wasn't quite as sun savvy as I am now. Now I wear driving gloves, I pack SPF that I put on my hands in my car. But if you are wanting a product that's going to give your hand almost like a little bit of a facial and just make it seem so deeply hydrated and taken care of, highly recommend Marini's Renu hand cream. And it's small enough where you could just throw it in your purse, just apply a little bit after you wash your hands. Alright guys, I hope this video wasn't too long. I'm trying to shorten my content, shorten my podcast and my videos, because I know it's hard to pay attention for this long. If you did, I so appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here and for learning about fall winter skincare with me. Love you so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.